Hello and welcome back to the TVBinges.com Pilot Roundtable, a Southgate Media Group podcast. I'm Kyle Tremblay, the editor of TVBinges.com, and I'm joined as always by a fellow TV Binges writer. She's looking at this podcast and deciding whether to walk left or right. It's Olivia Richards! Hello!
It's real life swiping left and right, but
That's right.
Walk over to the tiki bar.
It's the most direct Tinder metaphor I've ever seen, like in real life. Like there's never been like a more direct Tinder thing.
Tinder IRL.
Yes, and we're talking about a show that should be called Tinder IRL, but is not. It's on Fox. It's the new dating reality show, Coupled. Olivia, what did you think?
Oh God, this was okay because I know we both watched The Bachelor and The Bachelorette upon occasion.
Yeah, we should start with that because I feel like a lot of people right off the bat are going to be like, nope. But we proudly are not those people. we are definitely like familiar with these waters, right?
Maybe too familiar. So.
Yeah, uncomfortably familiar with these waters.
So Coupled was basically like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, minus the intrigue, but all of the sexism.
Yeah. That was the disappointment here, because on the run-up to this show, and on a lot of our shows, like, I don't know anything about them going in, but I am sad and ashamed to say that I knew some stuff about this one.
I know. It's not a good feeling, is it?
It's something about me. But a lot of like the run-up was like that the women had the power in this one. And in the previews, you could see that there's like women of different ethnic backgrounds, which is a nice change from The Bachelor.
Yeah, right.
Or you have or very famously, there's like the token black guy or black woman every season who lasts like 2 weeks because the white person who is in control doesn't want to throw him or her off the first week. Like that's sort of a long running Bachelor tradition. Here it was like a I would say fairly diverse cast, both in terms of the men and the women, and a lot of the press was about the women having more power and having more agency on this show, which is interesting. And I thought, okay, well, that's new, Fox. Like, let's see how this works. And then you get to the show, and it's not that at all.
Nope.
So I guess we should go through like what the setup is for this one, because I mean the thing is like every one of these shows is going to depend on the people. You know, every season of The Bachelor depends on who the women are, who the guy is, and vice versa for The Bachelorette. But I think the premise of this show kind of hampers that aspect of it, because on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, they everyone gets sort of thrown into a mansion. They sit there for like 16 hours and they just pump them full of alcohol. And weird stuff happens. And honestly, like, that's why we're all watching reality TV. God, yeah. Right? Yeah, it's for those moments. But this is a show that, Olivia, do you want to take a stab at explaining the process of what this show is? Do you feel up to explaining the sort of mechanics of how this show works? Because I really want to hear your take on it.
Here we go. Okay.
Let's do it.
So we're introduced to, we're going to delve right into this. So basically we're introduced to 12 women who are, described as being successful, and they like go into length about, these women's professional lives, and they're kind of bonding together. And that was kind of actually cool to see. That was kind of a different take from The Bachelor, and that's where my thumbs up is going to end. So, I
will say on that, they made an effort off the top to make this not seem trashy.
Yeah.
And it worked for like 15 minutes.
It seemed promising, and then it all like swiftly went downhill.
Yeah, okay, carry on.
So yeah, you have these 12 really, beautiful professional women who go to this island, and they're all put in a house together, and you also have 12 men. But what happens is that they're introduced to the men one at a time. So the women get to choose. This is basically like the Tinder IRL part, because they get to choose whether they want to see the guy again. So they can either walk left, I think, or whatever, to
Yeah.
the tiki bar where they can, meet them and talk to them further, or they can go back to the house and wait for the next guy to come.
Yeah. Clearly, you're not like a Tinder fiend, because they could swipe left to leave and just bail on the guy, or swipe right, aka walk right to the tiki bar. But this creates like a weird situation where the left-right decision that the women make is basically like, do I want to insert myself into the pool of women to be considered by this guy? I mean, that's what they're doing, right? Like it's like the women don't really have agency, because it's all 12 of them, and the guys are one at a time. So naturally, the guys are going to be the desired quantity, because there's only one of them versus 12 women. And like, as that pool of women dwindles down, you can imagine there's a lot of pressure to sort of pair up. And so, from the women's perspective, like, if you just go left, then you are saying, like, I'm taking myself out of consideration for one of the 12 guys that I might end up with. Whereas for the guys, they, like, are choosing from all these women, and naturally a bunch of them are going to go to the tiki bar for this very reason, for the sort of scarcity aspect of it. Yeah. And so the women make this sort of, like, choice only in name, like only if they're like truly repelled by a guy, which by the way, based on the two guys that showed up, seems like a potential common happening. But like only then would they go left. Of course they're gonna go right, because you want to give it a shot. And so the guys walk into this tiki bar that's full of women, and then like he spends the whole day with them apparently, and chooses two to go on like a double date, like a 2-on-1 date with, Bachelor style. Which is like, okay, so it's like one guy with two women, like, and that's like every date on the show, which is weird.
So you gotta have one on each arm, so.
Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird?
It's super creepy. I was watching it and I was like, this is a terrible idea, and this is really kind of gross, because I mean, you have these women who are being introduced as professional and who are, quote unquote, looking for love, which is like a throwaway line in any reality dating show. But yeah, then they get to the tiki bar and they're like, I chose this, and then he gets to come in, and you see them being escorted to like a really awkward date because you're competing with this other girl for this guy's attention, and
and like on the first date, okay. I want to talk about the first guy, because you've been mentioning the professional stuff, and our dear host, who is, I think, a celebrity who I just don't recognize. Did you get his name? I think it's Terrence something?
Terrence J or something.
Terrence J? Okay, he also introduced, like, so ladies, are you looking forward to meeting these professional guys? And so our first guy shows up. He is wearing bright orange pants.
Yep.
He is a white guy. His profession is listed as musician. And he describes himself as being in a, quote, hip-hop reggae band, and that his entrance was like, quote, a James Bond rap video. So...
already this guy's a gem, you can already tell.
So that's our very professional first guy. Just to remind you, one of the women is a lawyer. like, this is ridiculous. These guys are like, what? That's who you're leading with for the guy pool?
Oh, it's already going super, super well. And then you had the girl who was a self-proclaimed conservative who wanted to, have a husband in a house full of guns.
A house full of guns. Great. Yeah, so the professional thing goes right out the window right away. When Mr. Orange Pants met the lawyer, his 2-camera description of her was, as she was like deciding which direction to walk Tinder style, he said, "I'd love for her to go right. Sexy lawyer, very tall, very sexy." Was his like summation of their meeting.
He's one of the great thinkers of our generation. So
I think that's going to be a line in his next hip-hop reggae song. And again, I cannot stress how white this guy was. But yeah, so I mean, it's got like all the sort of trashiness of The Bachelor. And like, the thing is, on The Bachelor, like the 2-on-1 date is a thing that happens. But it happens, of course, both on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. So it's sort of even, sometimes it's a girl taking out 2 guys, sometimes it's a guy taking out 2 girls. Here in this show, apparently, always a guy taking out two girls.
Yep.
But the thing is, by not introducing all the guys at once, like the first 2-on-1 date ended. The guy, Mr. Orange Pants, made his choice, and the girl he didn't choose, like, very genuinely thanked him and congratulated him and the girl, and sort of happily walked back because she knows there's 11 more guys coming around. And so there's none of the stakes that those 2-on-1 dates have. Like the reason that kind of date is interesting on The Bachelor is that you know one of them is going home at the end of it. So there's like real serious stakes. And as it progresses, the participants get more and more desperate to get the attention of the person who's making the decision. In this case, no stakes whatsoever. These people, like, no, we don't know these people. We met them like 5 minutes ago. Nobody cares about them. Whoever doesn't get picked is just going to have the same opportunity at the next guy who walks off the helicopter. So there's none of like the baked in tension that sort of drives people crazy, which is what of course drives the interest in reality TV. None of that is present here. It's because there's only one guy at a time. Every woman on the show feels like there's always a chance at another guy, and you don't get any of the desperation that sort of drives crazy behavior.
No, that's exactly it. And I think the one element that they added, which like doesn't really change much, is that they're allowed to have cell phones. So worst case scenario, you're getting catty text messages, which did happen because, you know, the guy or one of the girls was like posting selfies from the dates that they were on for the girls who weren't chosen or who didn't choose the guy. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's a potentially interesting thing. I love the idea of like drama happening because two people are texting with each other when they're actually paired with other people. Like that's a good potential like drama mine. I would love it if a dating show allowed the people in the house to use text, like freely use their phone for like 2 weeks, and then out of nowhere they force them to throw their phones in a basket and then draw random phones and they could look through them.
That's awesome. I would
love that. That's like a great reality show, like stab them in the back move. but like it just, there's no drama on this show. It's all like, it all has the, like, it's trying to have the shine of being like more professional, but then they're directly copying Tinder, and also like it still feels trashy. Like it still like it still has that aura of just like trashy reality dating show. Just it's been shined up to like try to, I don't know, appeal to an audience that's looking for a classy reality dating show. Like it just doesn't. There's nothing there to grasp onto, and none of the drama is heightened to the point that it's just like pure fun television.
And that's exactly it, especially because I feel like The Bachelor in a lot of ways kind of doesn't take itself super seriously. So you know what you're getting into. Like right off the bat, they have people who come in who have ridiculous professions, who, you know, they give them these like crazy backstories. And this was not that. And I felt, you know.
Yeah, I think this show needs to be having a lot more fun. And I think it would be having a lot more fun if A, they fed everyone a lot more booze, which is a prerequisite, and B, like introduce at least like 3 or 4 guys at a time. Like if you're gonna stick with this sort of left-right premise, then have it be like 3 guys at a time, more like speed dating, so that the guys are also competing against each other rather than just a pure one-way competition where you have a guy in a tiki bar with 8 women and he just gets to choose. Like there's nothing, he just chooses. It's like that's just lame. It's like bad TV. So
I know.
So this one premiered on a Tuesday night, I think at 9 on Fox, and did a 0.5 rating in the demo. Yikes.
I'm not surprised. I was live tweeting this, and the only other people who were sporadically live tweeting were the actual cast members.
Oh no! Just you and the cast.
It was so depressing.
Olivia, they're gonna try to get you on the show.
Maybe.
You're since you're the only person interacting with them, and apparently the only person watching.
Basically.
But yeah, 1.91 total million viewers, which is wow for a network premiere on a Tuesday night at 9. 0.5 in the demo. Ooh. Ooh, we. Um, do you think this one's going to be canceled quickly, make it through the season, or be renewed for an impossible second season?
I don't think it's going to be surprising that this is probably not going to make it through the season.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's a summer show is its only saving grace, and it probably costs nothing to make. Like the cost of this show is like the cost of the equipment and of renting that villa that they're in. Like, that's it. No one can be getting paid that much money on this show except maybe Terrence J. But
maybe Terrence J, because he's,
yeah. I'm gonna go. Boy, I just don't think they can have this on the schedule. Like, it's the summer, they don't have anything to they don't have anything to replace it with. I just don't think they can have it on the schedule. It's like this could do like a 0.1 at one point. Like if their premiere is 0.5 in the demo, this could get down to where it's like 15,000 people are watching this show Tuesday night at 9 on Fox. Like, this could go so low that
exactly. I mean, you could practically hear like the crickets coming off of Twitter. There was nothing happening. There was zero response from anybody.
And you compare that to like Bachelor, Bachelorette, where Twitter is just alive, and like I couldn't imagine watching those shows without Twitter, and you really get a sense of how badly this one flopped, and for good reason. So Olivia, final verdict: thumbs up or thumbs down on Coupled?
I think I'm gonna just swipe left on this one.
Yeah,
you send it away.
You know what?
Do it.
You did learn something from this pilot roundtable, from this show, which is the mechanics of swiping left and swiping right.
I did. Now I can, put that in my pocket for later.
Yeah, no, it's a good life skill. Yeah, I'm gonna swipe left too, obviously. This is a show that's gonna get to the tiki bar and it'll just be like cobwebs.
Basically.
Nothing is in the tiki bar for Coupled. So, you've been listening to the Pilot Roundtable, a TVBinges.com and Southgate Media Group production. You can listen to all of our episodes on iTunes, where you can rate and review us. We'd appreciate that. Or find us at SouthgateMediaGroup.com. Follow Olivia on Twitter at RichardsOlivia, and me on Twitter at KyleLovesTV. Until next time.